101 Dalmatians, The Puppy's First Christmas, a Disney storybook read by Books for Kids by Flying Dragons. One winter evening, Pongo and Perdita were watching TV with their puppies when a rustling noise in the hallway caught their attention. The puppies jumped off their chairs and ran to the doorway. They all watched silently as Roger and Nanny hauled a huge tree into the parlour. It was fresh and green and made the room smell like a pine forest. "What's going on?" Rolly asked, turning to look at his mother. "Don't worry, dear," said Perdita. "It's Christmas Eve. This is just the beginning." "Christmas?" Lucky asked. "It does look like a mess." He wagged his tail. The parlour floor was covered with pine needles, boxes of ornaments, tinsel garlands, and strings of small lights. Anita was waiting in the parlour to help Roger and Nanny. The puppies looked on in awe as their human pets began acting very strangely. Roger hung shiny coloured globes on the branches. Anita was winding a garland around the tree. When the tree was finished and the room tidied, Roger flipped a switch. The lights and shiny ornaments cast a magical glow about the room. The puppies stared wide-eyed at the tree. The humans had certainly made the tree very pretty, though they still didn't understand why they needed a tree indoors. That night, when Pongo and Perdita tucked the puppies into their basket, they told them all about Christmas. "It's a time when people show their families and friends how much they care for them," Pongo said. He explained how humans sent cards, baked cookies and fruitcakes, and sang festive Christmas carols. "It may sound strange, but you'll grow to love the holiday season," Perdita said. She nuzzled Patch, who let out a yawn. "Especially the beef bones left over from dinner," Pongo added. "Bones?" Patch said, perking up. His father smiled. "And that's not all," Perdita continued. "On Christmas Eve, after everyone's in bed, people sneak presents under the tree." "Presents?" all the puppies said at once.
Presents?
"Presents? What kind of presents?" all the puppies said at once. Patch asked, "Can you wish for them?" "I'd wish for a new bed," Lucky said, as he climbed into the basket that he shared with his brothers and sisters. "Why do people put presents under the tree?" Pepper asked. "Christmas is about giving," Pongo told the puppies as they gathered round. "People give presents to their family and friends to show how much they love them." "I wonder if we'll get any presents?" asked Rolly. "Maybe," Perdita replied. "Anita gave me a collar last year." "And I got a red ball," said Pongo. "I hope someone loves us," said Penny. "You are all loved, whether or not there are presents under the tree," Perdita said. "Now, time for bed. Tomorrow is a big day." On Christmas morning, the puppies woke at dawn. They creeped into the parlour. Sure enough, there were piles of brightly wrapped packages placed under the tree. "We are loved!" Freckles cried. The puppies dived into the pile of presents. They tossed the packages around and ripped and tore at the coloured paper. "Christmas is fun!" Rolly exclaimed as he shook some wrapping paper out of his mouth. Lucky pulled open a box. "Perfume," he said, and wrinkled his nose. Penny dragged a spotted necktie out of some tissue paper. "What do I need with more spots?" Freckles held up a lace handkerchief. "What is this for?" he asked. Just then they heard Roger and Anita talking in the hallway. The puppies looked at each other in alarm. "Let's get out of here," Rolly said. The puppies scampered around the room, hiding behind the sofa, under the chairs, and in the folds of the curtains. The puppies trembled with fear when they heard Roger's footsteps. He stopped in the doorway. What on earth? He said. Anita walked up beside him. Oh dear, she cried. Perdita, Pongo, Roger called out. Where are you? The puppies heard the click-click of their parents' claws on the wooden floor as they scurried towards the parlour. When they came into the room, Pongo said, Woof, and Perdita replied, Woof. The puppies looked at each other uncertainly. We're in for it now, Lucky whispered. Then they heard something very strange. Anita started to laugh. Roger said with a chuckle, Looks like we had some help opening our gifts. Wasn't that kind of the puppies? Nanny said as she walked into the room and saw the mess of paper and ribbon. I wonder where they've gone off to, Roger said with a twinkle in his eye. Come here, pups. There are still so many boxes to unwrap, Anita said, shaking her head. I do wish they'd come and help. The puppies looked around at each other in their hiding places. Then, one by one, they creeped out from under the stairs and behind the sofa. They gathered around the tree as Roger pulled more packages from under the branches. Go for it, boys and girls. Yip, yip! The puppies tore into the bright wrappings and the tangled ribbons. They crunched cardboard and rolled around in the crinkly papers. Patch hopped into an empty box to hide. When Lucky started to tear at the top of the box, Patch popped up with a playful woof. Pongo and Perdita looked at each other. Shall we join them? Whispered Pongo. This is their first Christmas, Perdita replied. Let them have their fun. When the puppies grew tired of rolling around in the wrapping paper, Anita brought out a large basket. Sorry we didn't have time to wrap these, she said. But then she smiled. Maybe you've done enough work for today. She handed each puppy a squeaky toy. From the bottom of the basket, she pulled out 2 special Christmas jumpers for Pongo and Perdita. Anita knitted them herself, said Roger with pride. That evening, after Christmas dinner was over, the puppies were still full of energy. They weren't ready to go to bed. We like Christmas, said Peppa. We like our toys, said Rolly. We like tissue paper, said Patch. But remember what we told you about Christmas? Perdita asked. She nudged her children towards their basket. It's a time for giving. It's also about forgiving, Pongo said gently. You were lucky that Roger and Anita weren't upset that you unwrapped their presents. The puppies' heads dropped a little. We're lucky to have 2 wonderful humans, Perdita said softly. That is the best present we could ask for. The puppies raised their eyes. The puppies raised their eyes to their mother hopefully. We are loved, Penny said. She smiled. You are all, each and every one of you, very loved, Perdita assured her children. And that's what Christmas is really all about, this one, Pongo said as the puppies drifted off to sleep.
What is this one?
If you'd like to read more with us, we've got plenty more books we'd love to share with you. And hit subscribe below. Thank you.